Hello family and friends and fellow YouTubers, it's Kim here from Kim's Country Corner, and this weekend I am out at the Hancock Homestead, and as you can see I have my daughter Karen here with me. She's out to help me with a special project. We are going to be making apple butter, and we're going to be using the recipe out of the Ball Complete book of home preserving. This is an excellent book whether you're a new canner or an experienced canner. Excellent book. Has hundreds of recipes, very detailed. I like it because one of the things Karen and I noticed today is, for example, on the sweet apple butter recipe, not only does it give you the recipe, but it also gives you variations. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Karen, why don't you go ahead and read them, read the ingredients first, and then tell them the variation we're going to use.
Okay, so for our sweet apple butter, you'll have to have 6 pounds of apples peeled, cored, and quartered, 2 cups of apple cider. We'll have 3 cups of sugar, and then 1 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon and 1 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. It also calls for ground cloves. The apple butter for the traditional style, it says that you can prepare it as above, but you can replace the apple cider with 3 cups of water and increase your sugar to 6 cups of sugar. Sorry, my voice is gone.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do then is we are going to, peel, core, and slice the apples. So we won't make you watch all that, but that's what we're going to be working on for probably about the next hour, is peeling, coring, and slicing, and we will bring you back whenever you get ready for the next step. All right, talk to y'all in a bit. Okay, friends, so as you saw, we all work together as a complete family, getting these apples peeled, cored, and sliced. And we have now added, it says 6 pounds, and we have 1 pound is equal to 3 cups, and we needed 6 pounds, so we've done 18 cups, our stock pan. Okay, so we have all of the apples. We have our 6 pounds of apples ready to go. Yep. Okay, so Karen, tell us what step 1 is.
Okay, so step 1 says in a large stainless steel saucepan, combine the apples, and it says apple cider, but we're going to use the variation and do our 3 cups of water instead. Bring to a boil over medium-high heat, reduce heat, and boil gently, stirring occasionally until the apples are soft for about 30 minutes.
Okay, and do you want to help add the water? Okay, friends, well, we have let the apples cook for a half hour. They've cooked down almost halfway. So, Karen, go ahead and read step 2.
Okay, so step 2 says working in batches, transfer the apple mixture to a food mill or food processor, fitted with a metal blade, and puree just until a uniform texture is achieved. Don't liquefy it, and it can measure to 12 cups of apple puree.
Okay, so our blender does have a puree button, most do. So Karen's going to go ahead and start pureeing the apples, and then we'll go on to the next step. You can, just so you know, you can make applesauce the same way. It's just instead of pureeing, you only chop. So,
ready?
Yeah. Okay, so Karen has just pureed the last batch of apples. And this is the consistency that you're looking for. So we are ready to go on to the next step. Alright friends, so we have our pureed apples, and now Karen's going to read step 3.
Okay, so we combined our puree, our sugar, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Stir until the sugar dissolves. Bring to a boil over medium-high heat, stirring frequently. Reduce the heat and boil gently, stirring frequently until mixture thickens and holds its shape on a spoon.
Okay, so our ingredients that we need to add to the apples are...
So sugar, we decided we're going to go with 5 cups.
Yeah. All right. I guess I can do that.
I'll stir.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I know. That's a lot of sugar, guys.
That's a lot of sugar.
So
Sorry.
after the 5 cups of sugar, we're doing,
The cinnamon,
which is,
1½ teaspoon of ground cinnamon.
okay, and I always like to measure over a bowl so that if I accidentally get too much, you won't mess up your recipe. So there's 1.
1½
And a half. All right.
Okay. We need 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves. Oh, that was nutmeg.
Okay, so 1/2 teaspoon of the ground cloves. The ground cloves has a really nice rich brown color to it. That's what gives your apple butter its color. All right.
That's good scent.
Is that a good half?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it has
And
a
then-
nice scent.
Smells really good in here.
And then we're doing 1½ of the
Nutmeg.
nutmeg and a half. All right. All right, so we have all of the ingredients.
Okay, so we're going to stir until the sugar dissolves. Bring to a boil over medium-high heat, stirring frequently. Reduce heat and boil gently, stirring frequently until the mixture thickens and holds its shape on a spoon.
And we'll show you the shape on the spoon technique when we reach that point. So we've got all of our ingredients added. We're going to go ahead and move it to the stove top. And Karen will stir. Okay, friends, so we have it in the saucepan. We have it coming to a boil. This is what your texture is going to look like. We're letting it thicken up even more because the water will evaporate and it'll get a nice thickness to it. So, all right, we'll bring you back when we're ready for the next step. Okay, friends, so we've had our mixture on the burner for about 30-35 minutes. It has thickened up very nicely, and so we're ready to go on to the next step. And that includes making sure that it is spoon ready. Now, what that means is I'm going to get out a little sample of my butter. I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to dish a spoonful onto a plate, like so. Then it will hold the shape of the spoon and there will be no liquid seeping out from underneath. Okay? So this is definitely spoon ready. All right, so step 4 was to prepare the canner, the jars, and the lids. So we have done that. And Karen is going to go ahead and read what step 5 is.
Okay, so next up we're going to ladle the hot butter into the hot jars. We're going to leave a 1/4 inch space, head space. We're going to remove the air bubbles and adjust the head space if we need. We'll wipe the rim clean, put on a lid, and then screw the band down until resistance is met, which is also the fingertip tight, just tight enough.
Okay. Karen will be doing the canning. Okay, and go.
Okay, grabbing out my hot, clean jar, pouring away from me. Okay, I'll use my funnel, put in some apple butter. The apple butter's hot, the jar is hot, which is how it's supposed to be done, move hot to hot.
Yep.
Filling it up. That might be a bit much. See? Okay. Take my tool to poke out the air bubbles. Okay. I'll use the same tool to measure the headspace.
Headspace is very important. The apple butter is needing a 1/4 inch.
Yes.
But some foods, like the tomatoes, when they cook, they expand. So they need a little bit more headspace. The reason headspace is important is because as they're expanding, if you don't allow enough headspace, it will push your lid off. Now, the apple butter is not going to expand the same way as other foods, so that's why it doesn't need as much headspace. Okay, go ahead, Karen.
I'm wiping the rim clean.
The reason that you need to do this part is because if the rim is not clean, it will not allow the lid to make a proper seal. And she's centering the lid. Okay. And then she's going to add the ring. Go ahead. Fingertip tight. All right. And we will go ahead and finish up the jars, and we'll bring you back when we're ready for the next step. Yeah. Now, Karen, you want to go ahead and tell them what step 6. Step 6.
Yep. So we're going to place the jars in the canner, ensuring they are completely covered with water. Bring to a boil and process for 10 minutes. Remove canner lid, wait for 5 minutes, then remove jars.
Okay.
Cool and store.
All right, so go ahead and put them in with your jar thing, lifter, jar lifter.
These are so handy.
And does the water completely cover the jar?
It is.
It does. All right. Okay, guys, our timer is going off, so Karen's going to remove the lid for 5 minutes. She'll reset the time. Yeah, that's fine. She'll reset the timer for 5 minutes. And then after the 5 minutes, we'll come back in and take the jars out.
Okay, goes your plan?
Yes. Okay, friends, so that is the timer telling us that the 5 minutes is up. It's time to remove our jars from the canner. So Karen is going to use the jar lifter to lift the jars out of the hot water bath canner. And what is it we're listening for, Karen?
We are listening for a beautiful pop.
We are listening for a beautiful popping sound. That will tell you that it has been sealed. However, you may not hear all the pops, and you can tell if they are sealed properly by looking at the little bubble on top of your lid. If the bubble is sticking up, then it still needs to be sealed, but if the bubble indents itself, then that means it has sealed. Okay? If you have one that does not seal, then you have 2 options. You can either reheat your canner up and go through the last process of the canning stage, where you heat it for 10 minutes again, or you can just simply use that jar right away. Ooh, we heard a pop. We heard a pop. We're listening for 9. I know, it's exciting, isn't
So
it?
exciting.
So for our batch, we got 9 jars. Well, actually, that was all the jars we had. So 9 jars and then a Tupperware container, which we will use right away.
For sure.
All right, friends. So we are very happy with the 9 jars that we got.
Oh, I can't wait.
And I'm sure that whoever receives them as a gift are going to, oh, another pop,
Yeah.
are going to be very excited too.
Yeah.
So, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you want to know more about what's going on in my corner of the world, which oftentimes involves my children and my grandchildren,
Yes.
then please come back to Kilm's Country Corner. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we will talk to you all later.
Yeah.
Bye for now. Okay, and so also, we want to leave the rings on for a day, for at least 24 hours. And then after the 24-hour mark, you can take the outer rings off and store them with just the lids.